was talking about they're going to move to Florida with his daughter.
I'm in love with you, baby, like a monster truck. I'm in love with you, honey, and all your stuff. And with the steel, yes, sister, so I know it's real. Let me do as I please, yes, whatever I feel. Heavy soul, broken bone, I've got no control. Bring the steel, so I know it's real. You come on in. Oh yeah, like a monster truck. I'm in love with you, baby, like a monster truck. I'm in love with you, honey, and all your stuff. And with the steel, yes, sister, so I know it's real. Do as you please, oh yeah, whatever you feel. Heavy soul, broken bone, I've got no control. Bring the steel, so I know it's real. You come on in. I'm in love with you, baby, like a monster truck. I'm in love with you, honey. And
Start over? You said we was live 5 damn minutes ago.
Hey, language.
No wonder you wanted to stay in that room.
We are a work
Rookies.
in progress here,
I will
by the way.
throw something at you after the show.
That's
Anyways, I was told we're live now,
Yeah, we're alive.
so we're gonna start over. How you guys doing,
Great.
Coach Kristen?
It's not scripted now.
It's never scripted. Anyways, we got a special guest with us, Coach. You know who this guy is?
Who is he?
Kent Sterling.
I get that for my wife.
Pull that up just a little bit more. There we go. You'd be like Coach Lovell, and he liked to talk like
He
this.
did. Yeah, he said
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, he can because he's loud.
Well, it still made this echo like he was talking in a
Yeah.
hallway. But we had different mics
Yeah.
back then. We
We're
had
having some issues.
digital mics that everything was ran USB. Now we got fancy mics for you
Nice.
that's ran through a soundboard and all kinds of stuff.
Perfect.
It's
Just for
much
you,
better.
Mr. Kent.
Yeah.
Kent, thanks for coming out,
Yes.
spending some time with us.
It's my pleasure.
We are extremely honored that you're going to sit down and talk some sports with us and let us pick your brain a little bit.
Well,
Any excuse to
Yeah.
come down to Beech Grove is a good one. This is where we moved to when we first came to town. And,
Is that
and
right?
Yeah,
Really?
absolutely. Lived at Willow Glen South.
Oh, he's
Down at,
he's definitely a Grover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
For sure.
so Ken, why don't you give us a little background?
I come really out of media management. I worked in Chicago as a radio producer and came down here and was the assistant program director at WIBC for a long time, and then for 13 years, and then became the program director when we launched 1070 The Fan. Became the program director at WIBC also, simultaneous to that. And then there was a management shift, and I started to create content instead of manage it. Got back into management for a couple of years because the money was really good in St. Louis, and then came back here because this is home, and went back into kind of content creation and talking about sports because that's what I love, and there's no better place to do it than Indianapolis.
There's not, is there? I
No.
mean, we've got so much in our own backyard. People, man, how'd you get that photo? Man, how'd you do that? I'm like, man, I leave my house.
I got up
There's
in the morning.
always something going on
Yeah, right.
in this state.
Yeah, like us going to our anniversary night, and
our
running
first
into half the
anniversary,
NFL.
We just randomly ended up downtown. Our anniversary is the last week of February, so we decided to book a room at the J-Dub. I had a good time. We go have dinner at
Fogo de Chao.
Fogo de Chao. and we're
With the gauchos,
Yes.
cutting the meat.
walking along, and there's Clay Matthews.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's Jeff Fisher.
And we couldn't figure out. Well, it was Combine weekend.
Nice.
And we
Yeah.
didn't realize that first time. So now our anniversary every year
We're running into
is
combine
Combine
people.
stuff. Yeah, so
That's funny.
it was fun.
I love going to the combine.
We had a good time.
It
Yeah.
is an awesome time. When I started doing this, I used to call it the Big P Power Hour. No, just a Big P pregame show, and I would do it on some Colts pages that I'm friends with, and got to meet a lot of people. And then people would say, "Man, where'd you go? Man, I want to meet you." And all right, I'm going to the combine this weekend. You guys want to come out? And we got a real good friend of the show now, Carvey Jackson. I met him out at the combine because just by making content and
Right.
talking about sports and all that, and it's been absolutely one of the funnest things I've ever done in my life.
Good for you.
Yeah.
This is a very friendly town, and the programs here, whether it's Butler, Indiana, or Purdue, and then the two professional major league franchises in the Colts and the Pacers, they could not be nicer people, all of them. And so going to a practice and talking to athletes today, I was at the Colts complex and talked to Rocky Scene, Hale Henches, Bobby Okereke, and Deion Kane.
Wow.
For my podcast. I do one every day at like 3 o'clock. And
Where-
they couldn't be cooler.
Well, let me interrupt you. Where can people find your podcast?
Well, it's either on SoundCloud. You can find it on SoundCloud. The easiest way is probably on Twitter, and my Twitter handle's @KentSterling. And so I'll link to it every day. But I put it on Facebook
Okay.
also, and try to have interviews on there every day. Just little things, not expansive things with these guys.
So
'cause
you
they
do
got
your
stuff to do.
podcast every day.
Every day.
See, we only do this once a week.
I used to do the radio show every day. So I want to continue. I got to have something to do at 3 o'clock. So it comes out every day at 3 o'clock. And I enjoy talking to the guys, and it gives me some perspective I wouldn't have otherwise.
That's awesome. I need
Yeah.
to. We all need to learn what you do to
Yeah.
get yourself in that position to interview those kind of people.
It takes a long time, really, to build the relationships. But once you do, they're very accommodating, and the Colts and the Pacers are wonderful about it. And IU also. Basketball is impossible to get through for anybody. Like, you can't. You want to talk to Archie Miller, good luck. It's kind of that sort of thing. Nobody
Right.
gets access to Archie other than those few times when everybody does. But for the Colts and for the Pacers, they couldn't be better.
We've also had some
Butler
really good
too.
experiences with the Fever.
They're terrific.
Yeah.
Kevin Messenger, dealing with him,
Wonderful.
great, and Pokey's wonderful, and Tamika is the nicest person on the planet.
She really is.
And so she's perfect to lead that organization in the way that she does as the general manager, in that she is really, really nice. Because you've got to be nice here. If you're not nice in Indianapolis, this town we're nice, but we will not accept hard asses in our lives.
No.
And so if you got that kind of attitude, good luck to you. You're just not going to make it here.
Instant
Antonio Brown
rejection.
wouldn't make it here in the city, would
No.
he?
No.
Absolutely
No.
not. The first sign of antics.
If you
No.
want
Yeah.
to have that type of attitude, I hear Oakland is a good spot.
Well,
Not
speaking
really.
of,
Well, let me ask one question because you brought up the Colts, the Pacers. Indy 11
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
on fire right
Yeah.
now. How do you see them bringing their status of a professional league in this town up to the Colts Pacers level?
Well, you got to get in the MLS, and that's their plan, is to move from the USL to the MLS, and they keep building a roster that's more and more competitive. I think they got a good chance to win the regular season divisional crown and move into the playoffs with a high seed. They've won won or tied 21 games in a row at Lucas Oil Stadium. We like winners.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
So that's how
So-
they have. That's how they
have to play their
get
way into
into
it.
the.
By being successful, filling the house, and building that new stadium. That new stadium that's a big deal as far as getting the attention of the MLS and being welcomed into it as an expansive.
I don't know
expansion
nothing about
franchise.
soccer. There's too much running.
Yeah,
I did all the running I'm going to do when I was in the military. I'm done running. I don't care.
Fortunately for us, all we have to do is sit on our asses, drink beer, and watch those guys run.
I like being a fan
That's all
now.
right. Yeah.
I mean, a lion could be chasing me, and I'm just going to sit there and either fight it or let it maul me, one of the two. Because I ain't running from nothing anymore.
I also don't run unless one of my children is in danger, but they both live in different places, so yeah.
But I
That's
didn't
a
mean to
lot-
interrupt
that's a
you,
lot
Coach.
of No.
But that was a good lead into what he was talking about in as far as this town's sports and
they're
the
great
level
people.
they're
the,
at.
The 11, those are really good people, and they deserve their success. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, we'll have to get out there and
We should.
start doing some more with them for sure.
And Martin Rennie could not be a nicer guy. And, talking to him, he's got that cool accent. You can't go wrong with Martin Rennie. I used to love having him on the radio show because he
Yeah.
just sounded great.
I've heard him on the radio a couple times.
You'll have
on
to
the
make an
fan.
introduction for us
Perfect.
if we can do that. If
I'd
we
happy
can ask
to.
you that. I'm getting tongue tied again. See,
Here we
I'm
go.
all
Man.
starstruck and
Man.
don't know what to do.
Too. We'll just talk.
I know.
So let's go ahead and jump right in. We actually did have some specific questions. I'm
Sure.
going to go ahead and jump into one of our fans. Carve wants to know, who do you think is going to be the biggest bust in the NFL this year?
Wow, like team-wise?
Yeah.
I think it's Bears. I think we're going to see them tonight.
Whoa.
I don't think the Bears are going to be any damn good. The whole city of Chicago thinks they're going to the Super Bowl. Mike Greenberg was talking about that this morning on Get Up, that they're going to play in the Super Bowl. I don't see it. I don't think Trubisky's ready. I don't think he's ever going to be ready.
But I think that based entirely on how solid their
He's
defense
good.
is, I think
He's
it's gonna be
good.
They got Pagano as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And what Chuck
Yeah.
does is ruin defenses. God bless him.
Oh.
And so, I think it's going to be the Bears, and I can't wait. There is no fan base that comes to Chicago or comes to Indianapolis and is less pleasant than the Bears fans.
You know what? They're like that everywhere because a lot of Albuquerque, New Mexico, we don't have a team there, so we just kind of pick and choose from
Right.
everywhere. I am not an inherent Indianapolis fan, so let me just point that out. Anyway, a lot of my friends are Bears fans, and they are some unpleasant football people.
Yes.
No, the rest of the time they're great. Sundays they suck.
Do you know that when I was in St. Louis for 2 years, I traveled with the Rams. We were the flagship of the Rams. And so we'd go out and do the radio broadcasts. And so I'd fly to every city where they played. And we flew up to Chicago and played at Soldier Field. And about an hour and a half after the game, we're all on the bus. The buses pull out. And there were about 150 fans at the exit. And they know exactly where it is, where the buses are going to come out. And they won. And they stood out there and they flipped us off. They waited for an hour and a half to flip off the Rams team buses as they pulled out of Soldier Field.
That sounds
No
like-
other
That's-
place did
that's
that.
right.
Talk about kicking a man when he's down.
We were the Rams.
That sounds like Philadelphia fans when the Cowboys are in town. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
Yeah,
That's
but
funny.
that's what you get out of Bears fans.
So the second half of that question is who's your surprise good team?
I think it's the Colts, to tell you the
There
truth.
shouldn't be a surprise to
No,
that.
but
That's-
nationally it is.
I
Can I
just,
get my
we just-
Ric Flair?
we don't even. He thinks that we're going to be undefeated.
16-0,
in
go
Indianapolis
Super
this year.
Bowl.
Well,
That
that was
would be
my
something.
that was my prediction before the retirement.
Now they're going to go
announcement.
15-1.
But no, I took it down. I did take it down to 11, 12. Hey, I tell you what, I've been to a lot of games. I've seen Jacoby play. Was out camp a whole lot this year, and his leadership on and off the field is second to none. If you're at a game, he's the first one
He's got a
cheering
good
the
grip
guys
on that
coming off
team.
the field. He's the first one out there. And with all this talk about how the Colts are going to suck this year now that Luck retired, I think he's going to take it real personal. And I think his talent is really going to come out, especially with the team that Ballard has built. He's got an O-line. He's got a defense.
Yeah,
he's got a receiving core that I have not seen better ever in the NFL, in my opinion. He's got
that's
some
a big statement.
solid.
Yeah.
He's got some solid running back.
If you haven't guessed, Pat's our local homer.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, Pat
That's a
loves
good
him.
thing.
Paris Campbell will be a stable superstar by the end of this year. Guarantee it.
He is, and he's a terrific dude. And what Jacoby's got to not do is not try to win games, and by not trying
All
to
by
win
himself,
games,
100%.
he ain't going to wind up losing games by himself. That defense is way better than it was in 17. The offensive line way better. The targets way better also, a great group of tight ends. And so you put all that together and you realize that in 2017 with Rob Chudzinski, now you got guys who know how to run an offense. You've got a situation that's improved markedly. And in 17, Jacoby took the Colts into a fourth quarter with a lead 9 times that season.
Yeah.
There's going to be a better team. They're going to finish games. And I think the over on the 7.5 wins,
Definitely
I
take
think
it.
that just looks great. And then
Yeah.
45-1. I was out at the sports book yesterday at Indiana Grand, and 45-1 for the Colts to win the Super Bowl. That I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but they're better than 45-1.
Yeah, by a lot. Yeah.
I might
So-
just go down there and place with a little bet.
Well,
I'll take those odds.
We every year before the season starts, I always pick my Super Bowl winner. For years and years and years, I was never wrong until I moved to Indianapolis, and this town has screwed me up for sports. Actually, it was him. So we did that this year, and who did you pick?
Well, I picked the Colts, but
It's really funny.
it was kind of a
This is like the super fans for the
it
Bears.
kinda is,
Duh,
isn't it?
Bears.
Yeah, well-
it's not Colts.
well. I was arguing with myself because I didn't want the Patriots to win again.
No.
Okay,
No.
let's say Marcia Broda all by himself playing against the Chargers this weekend. Marcia Broda 72, Chargers
Yeah, Chargers 3. What about the tiny Marcha Brothers?
All right,
we could have the
since
tiny
you guys
Marcha
are laughing
Brothers
at my Colts.
and one big Tony Saragusa.
Since you're laughing at my Colts and my predictions, because I still think the Colts have a solid chance of getting to the Super
I
Bowl.
think they have a solid chance at least
The,
getting to the,
the,
AFC
the
Championship.
AFC South is ours.
Right.
Guaranteed.
I think if the chips
I don't.
fall,
The only thing I guarantee in life is Jesus loves you, and you're going to die and meet Him. That's it. And I will not guarantee anything else in life. But right now, I'm telling you, the AFC South is ours.
I think
Once we get in there, the only team I see having trouble with is Kansas City, and I'm still skeptical on
spectacle.
She has to help me with my words. What's the
It was close.
skeptical
You were so close.
of their defense?
Yeah.
And if they do not have a much improved defense than what they did last year, we are going to eat them up.
Now I know
I firmly believe that.
it sounds ridiculous sitting next to Pat, but I picked them to go 11-5, and once I got them into the playoffs, I was like, hey, anything can happen in the playoffs.
Right.
And I was thinking Magic was going to happen this year. And I'm not going to lie, with the Andrew Luck situation, I kind of backed off of it a little bit because I've never seen Jacoby Brissett in the playoffs. So
Right. No.
Nobody has.
Let's
Yeah.
hope we do.
Yeah,
I would love
for
to
sure.
see that this year. If to me, if this team makes it into the playoffs and loses in the first round, it's been a success.
Right. That's a step forward. It would
Yes.
not have been a step forward if Luck were still here, but he's not. So Brissett's a great dude. He's a unique guy. You know, talking to him, there's no nonsense to him. If you try to slip like a nonsense question to him, he's not going to cover you by giving you a great answer. He's going to call you out for asking the silly question. He's his own agent. Did his own deal.
I loved reading that
Really,
article.
really interesting.
I'm not going to have somebody bullshit for
Right.
me. That's my guy right there from now on. I don't care.
Well, speaking of, let's talk about that
So
extension.
yeah, that was something that I wanted to bring
Yeah.
up because I
Yeah.
watched your Breakfast with Kent. I really enjoyed that.
Oh,
by the
very
way.
nice. Thank
And
you
then
very
I poured through your website because we have a guest. I have to
She's
know what I
thorough.
can. Yes.
Sure.
So it's one of the
Some
things
people
that,
call it anal retentive. I know that word.
I call it having good taste in sports media. Wait, anal?
That one too.
Fairly show, guys. No, so when we heard about the extension, Jeremy, I don't know if you knew this, we're a thing. Anyway, so we're sitting at home like, yes, that's so exciting. And then you brought up a completely different aspect to that particular
I hadn't really
extension.
heard about it, and I thought it was
You know,
really
we're
smart.
looking at it going 3 years, was it 30 million?
2 years.
2 years, 30
2
million,
years,
which is a
30.
great extent. What you brought up was the amount of money the Colts potentially saved.
Yes.
So why don't you elaborate on that?
Well, it's front loaded, but I don't know to what extent. So it's 2 years, 30 million. So that's 15 million a year, but more is to this year, where the Colts are still way under the cap. And so what they could have done instead was continue to pay Brissett the $2 million he was due this year, and then next year, if he blows up, if he has a great year, they've got to sign him to an extension or franchise him. And if you franchise him, it's going to cost you a minimum of $25 million next year. This year, it's $24,865,000. So that saves you money for next year, and it doesn't start the clock on the franchise tagging, because once you start that, the second year of a franchise
it's
tag,
even more.
You got to pay 120% of what you paid the previous year. And then the following year, there's going to be, the year after next, you'll have a new CBA, a new collective bargaining agreement of some kind, or they'll have another lockout or whatever. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Nobody knows what the rules are then. So having contracts end and then begin anew with the new CBA is really, really smart. Front-loading the contract, really, really smart. This was and people have said things like it's a de facto franchise tagging, and it's not. There are a lot of differences between this extension and a franchise tag. This is much smarter.
Well,
for the Colts.
this pay grade, I guess, he's still in the bottom third of the league in quarterbacks.
Yeah, he's 18th.
Well, and it also benefits both parties.
Yes.
I mean, he gets more money.
He gets
and the
$20
Colts,
million.
If he falls flat on his face this year,
They're not out a whole lot.
And they move
Right.
into 2020 with enough cap space.
And you'd want to keep him anyway.
Yeah.
Even at that
He's a
ticket.
fantastic
Because
backup.
what you would do to replace him is draft a guy.
Yep.
Like the Fromm kid from Georgia.
Yeah.
Go get that guy. You bring him in for the rookie, the rookie contract price, and you can still pay Brissett. You can still pay Hoyer. I mean, it all works out really, really nicely. Chris Ballard is a very good mathematician among NFL
Friggin'
GMs.
genius, if you ask me.
He's been really
Now,
good.
let me ask you that you brought up the players' contracts with the union and
the
everything.
CBA, yeah.
There's been a lot of contracts being signed right now. Jared Goff, Ezekiel got his, Curley got his.
Don't even bring him up.
Do you think
Don't bring him up.
who?
She already brought
I
up
already
Zeke.
did.
Damn it.
Leave me alone. Do you think that these contracts are being signed now in hopes of saving more money when the new union deal gets done?
Maybe, but you don't like Jerry Jones.
Because
wants
I would think
he wants a salary cap to explode north of where it is right now at about 200
which
million.
means he's going to have to pay the players even more. But he
Right, and he
just
wants
locked
to, 'cause he makes
Ezekiel
I mean,
in.
it
Right.
is the most monetarily sound team in the NFL.
Right.
He's got more money than anybody else does.
Yeah,
Right.
He
but
just
did,
isn't allowed to
did
spend
Zeke make a mistake
it. Zeke's an
in
idiot.
holding out now or waiting until the salary cap goes up higher so where he can make more money?
Well, he's getting $50 million guaranteed, and the life of a running back, that career span is very limited. And so getting that money now, that's a pretty smart thing. As long as he takes care of his money, his kids, his grandkids, their grandkids are never going to have to work again in their
He
lives.
can't even take care of his beard.
Well, I'll tell you, I think that's a
You're
very
just mad that you can't
Zeke-friendly
grow one.
contract. Just having the 6 years and the $50 million guaranteed.
It is because the contract as it stands now continues and next year, and then in 21 that kicks in for 6 years. But he's going to get his $50 million guaranteed no matter what. Somebody hands you $50 million, you say thank you in the NFL.
That's not
Because
what
the
he does.
contracts aren't close to guaranteed
not.
to their maximum. And if you get hurt, you're just out of luck.
Yeah, this isn't the NBA.
No.
They offered Dak $30 million and he said no.
Bet on yourself.
Yeah. I
You know
wouldn't if
what?
I was him. I would have took that $30 million and said thank you.
I would always somebody offers you that amount of money, you say thanks. And that's the way it is, right?
You should see what I
That's a
got
lot
to
of
pay
money.
these guys to do this show with
Man.
me.
I turned
Killing
him
me,
down.
Ken. It's
I turned
killing
him
me.
down on the first offer, and then he doubled the offer, and I came back and I took that.
You always start low.
I got a piece of pizza last week.
Did you?
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
It was a good piece of pizza.
Hey, and
was decent.
tell them about the plaque I bought you at camp and got
yeah.
a bunch of signatures
That went
on
up.
it.
It went up in the mom den. Yes. It's
Yeah,
in
I
the
bought
mom
her
den.
one of those helmet.
It's got a helmet.
framed
Yeah,
helmets.
it's got
Nice,
a, got a ton
nice.
of
We
signatures
were
on
actually
it.
going to give it away on the show, and
She cried about it.
I did not.
she never gave it
Real
back to me.
tears.
That is not what happened. I was like, I'm going to keep this. And
she
he went,
stole
okay.
it.
And I was like, I'm just kidding here. No, he's like, no, keep it. And these two here have been conspiring. I'm like, you know how many times I've tried to give that stupid thing back to you?
Once,
No.
and you was really mean about it.
I'm mean about everything.
Scared the living hell out of me. Hey, talking about giving away.
Oh, nice segue.
As you guys seen, I posted this young man's CD release. He's 18 years old, Nashville recording artist, and he loves old country music. The style old, George Jones, Merle Haggard, the good country artists like that. And that's the way he sings. Brilliant kid, super nice, big Colts fan.
We like to help out our peeps.
He's actually writing us a song for this show,
Nice.
a Colts kind of song. But anyways,
No Jones on the jukebox. That ain't a jukebox without George Jones on it.
it's not.
That's
And the
true.
bad thing is, he's right. You
Yeah.
go jukeboxes anymore. There's no more George Jones
Right.
on it. But anyways, he came by. CDs are fresh from Sony. Got them today, and gave us one to give away. So Coach came up with a question to give the CD away to one of our listeners. Whoever answers first is going to get it.
Yeah, just comment in on the Facebook Live.
If your
and-
Wi-Fi is weak, better strengthen it up because
Yeah,
this-
the first
this
one that
is a
answers
hot
it correctly
CD,
gets
hot
a
off the
free
press.
CD. So here's your question. So tonight we're celebrating the 100th year kickoff of the NFL with Bears and Packers. So we're not going to make this a super hard question. You just probably be able to look it up on Google, to be honest
That's
with
where
you.
he found the question.
But how many times have the Bears and Packers played each other? Just make it that easy. So the first person that
Did you
comments
stump
in with the
Ken
correct
on this
answer.
one too?
Yeah, I have no. I know it was like tied, or really.
Their
close to
record's
tied.
really close. I
Yeah.
looked at it.
Yeah,
It's
Packers
super
got it
close.
better. They got double digits on the Bears
Do
on
they?
wins. But you're
You
asking
better
how
go-
many times they actually played each
How
other.
many times
How
have
many
they
times
met?
Have they played each other?
Not who won,
Including-
how many.
I'll give you a
including
clue.
postseason.
It's more than twice.
All right, so Kent,
Yes.
you actually had brought something up. We were talking about the quarterbacks. We brought in that person from the team that shall not be named.
Yes.
So
Brian Hoyer.
What do you think about the backup quarterback situation?
Hoyer?
Is it going to be Hoyer? Is it going to be Kelly? Are they keeping all
Oh,
three on
it's
the
Hoyer.
roster?
It's Hoyer, but I think they'll keep Kelly because Kelly, you know what? He's got a great arm. He's got
And
great
it's
arm talent.
tremendous
He's got great
upside.
feet. You can see it out of practice. If you guys were out there, you can watch a kid throw a football, and you're like, oh,
Man.
that's a little bit different. And then in the games, everything was spot on.
It was.
And I wonder if he wasn't suspended these first two games, if they would have gone out and gotten Hoyer, but they had
Yeah.
to. So they. And can you trust Chad Kelly? Because he's made good decisions to this point.
Good question.
But there have been a
But
lot
with
of bad
Uncle Frank,
decisions with that
with
guy.
Uncle Frank on his hip,
Yeah.
you would think so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Frank's got 52 other kids.
Yeah,
to-
but
to manage.
but that's Uncle Frank to him.
Yeah,
got a lot of
that's,
nephews.
that's pretty Uncle Frank. I mean, it's about as close to a godfather as he's got.
Yeah, and you would hope that he'd know that, but you would hope that
Yeah.
you wouldn't know, or that you would know not to walk into a stranger's house and cop a squat on their couch and start battling to the homeowners when they have no idea who you are. And you don't leave until they hit you over the head
Well, okay,
with an
so-
aluminum tube from a vacuum cleaner.
He knows the story too, to the tiniest detail.
Now, do you get any chances to speak with Frank Reich and kind of
Well-
sit down and pick his brain? I know a lot of
Not like
you,
that.
you get time with players and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
coach is hard to get to.
Well, they do the scrum. They do probably 3, not scrums, but podiums, we'll call it, where he stands at the podium and answers questions. That'll happen 3 times a week during the season. It happens once a week with the coordinators, and we got the locker room open 4 days a week, so we get a chance to talk to the players, and those are all one-on-one if we want. You couldn't do luck one-on-one, but all these guys are cool with it. Getting Frank, I used to get him on the radio show on the phone once a year. They'd have him come on, and that was fun. That was a good time. But it is a little bit more difficult with the Colts than, say, with the Pacers, where I can talk to Nate McMillan virtually whenever I want. Or Kevin, when he's around, you can request him and do one-on-ones. I love Kevin and Nate, and really have a great deal of respect for Frank and Chris as well. We're really lucky. We've got terrific management right now in Indianapolis sports, and I think for the most part in the colleges that are around here and the programs that people, really kind of keep an eye on.
That's awesome. Because my thing of being a fan and like going out to camp or, I like the interaction. I like to get to know people.
Yeah, right.
I'm really, I'm not an introvert by any shake of the means.
That's so hard to believe that you wouldn't describe yourself
I'd like
as an
to
introvert.
get to know them more personally. And with Coach Reich, I've only had one opportunity this year. He was doing an event at Sun King, and I got to ask him a question, and that was it. He was doing. Peter King was there.
You went to the tweet up thing that they used to do?
Yeah, they was doing it
thing?
for battered women or women
right.
that was freed from sex slavery stuff.
Right.
And he was there talking. And I got to ask a question, but it seemed, it was a lot smaller crowd and it was more personal. And I loved it to death. But I haven't, got to sit down with him and, just kind of talk football and get a feel about the kind of person he is or, things like that.
My take with him is that obviously he's a very religious guy.
Yes.
Right. He ran a seminary. And he lives his life that way. And he's a very self-assured guy, which is in stark contrast to what Pagano was. Pagano, very insecure as a guy.
Really?
And especially the last 2 years. Like the year where he thought he was going to get fired, and then the year where he did get fired, really insecure with the media. The relationships changed completely.
Wow.
Reich, I think, just knows who he is.
Yep.
And that, if he ever gets fired, he's going to shake Ballard's hand or Irsay's hand, and he's going to be done, and he's going to walk away, and he's going to feel pretty good about himself because this isn't how he evaluates himself as a human being, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. Because if you follow the Christian faith, God opens doors when others are closed. That brings a whole lot of light to the kind of person that he is.
Really good dude. I like Frank Reich. He makes no bones about not being able to tell you some stuff. Some guys will try to not tell you stuff while appearing to tell you stuff, and that's a bother. But not Reich. He'll just say, we're not going to talk.
You know what I like to do, Kent? I like to pay the bills, keep the lights on.
No, it's time to pay the bills.
Time to pay the bills.
It's a little hot in here.
It is a little hot.
It's kinda hot, yeah.
The room's a little bigger. The air conditioner's struggling a little bit.
It is.
Yeah.
It's coughing.
We're going to have to call our good friends at
We
Preferred
should.
Mechanical Heating and Cooling. Get him out here, get us cooled down. 'Cause a fat guy's going to sweat in a snowstorm,
You know
right?
what, though?
Yeah.
It's September, which means that it's time to start looking in the other
My air
direction.
runs until November.
There's something wrong with you.
I'm 310 pounds.
That is so many pounds.
I got
Many
sweat the
pounds.
size of horse turds rolling down my back right now.
Sometimes we want to just turn his mic off.
It's probably off now. They got to deal with Tony in there.
Tony's sleeping.
They just let me sit here to keep me calm. But anyways, get your heating and cooling services checked out. Call our friends at Preferred Mechanical. Mention the show. You get 10% off of your bill, as long as it's residential, no commercial.
We still have that contest
We still do it. He still hasn't given me a name.
because no one's done it. We tried, but we're not eligible because
Yeah, you
we're
guys.
employees of the
We
show.
can fire you though,
Ooh,
and then you'll be eligible. Your choice.
you want to fire?
See?
I didn't want you on the
If you're the
show.
only person that enters, you're guaranteed to win.
Get your ass back here. Yeah, so if you call Preferred Mechanical, you get your work done. You get 10% off your bill. Plus, you get entered to get 50-yard line tickets with me. And I'm even going to buy you a beer and a hot dog.
I like beer and hot dogs.
Ride out to the stadium and ride back. Free game, you can't beat that. I just
Nice.
don't know what
Although
game
I
yet.
have been in the truck with you, and that was almost as terrifying as Jeremy driving. Almost. The difference is you have a big truck.
Yeah. I like my trucks.
We're working on that.
Okay.
So anyways, give Preferred Mechanical call, area code 317-924-4042. Tell them D-Line Sports sent you,
He memorized
and get all that good stuff
It's on
done.
the screen.
it. Well.
Also, and Kent, I think you're going to like this too. We always give Beach Grove Bowl a shout out.
Because they let me pee there all the time.
all the time.
Nice.
Every time.
They're
24/7. Where are you
super
going to go
cool.
at 4 in the morning in Beach Grove if
But
you know?
there you go.
Or, at 2 o'clock in the morning, you get up, got some insomnia, feel like bowling.
Bowling, go.
Beach Grove Bowl.
I was talking with Scott, the owner, the other day, and we're going to start collaborating a little
That's
bit with him.
fabulous.
And he mentioned one thing that he would like more help with is that he has a league over there called Beach Grove's Special Rollers. And these are special need kids.
Oh.
And they have an entire league just for them. And they accept donations and things like that, so the parents don't have to pay
That's fabulous.
for the kids to come and bowl. And he said for the last 3 years, no bowlers had to pay the fee.
That's cool.
Wonderful.
So, and we're gonna
Now they have to come at 4 in the morning, though, right?
well, the time, I don't know the time on it yet, but I'd seriously doubt it. But, I mean, I don't have any special need kids, but I know certain people that do. And not only do they have to deal with what they have to deal with, they pay a lot of different medical bills.
Oh, my,
Yeah.
And,
sure.
Being able to
the
take
ones
your
I
family
know
out
are
and do things
always
like that's
strapped
important.
because they've always got to pay for this or always got to pay for that. So I thought it was really cool that he set this league up for
That is
them.
neat.
So
Okay.
we're gonna dive right into helping them.
Do you have...
Yeah, I got a whole
Okay,
sheet.
let me...
Nope, can't have it. It's mine.
Thank you.
Go get your own.
Appreciate you.
You're over there every 3 minutes.
It's 35 minutes.
Okay, 35 minutes. But anyways, we're
He
gonna
said
start doing some work with them. We're
That's
gonna
wonderful.
try to do a charity event out there. He wants us to take the podcast over
That would
there
be
and
great.
do a
Wow.
live event over there
Nice.
when they have their sign up
Okay.
day
That'd
and
be
all
great.
that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do that. Super excited about that. And I didn't tell you guys about it because I wanted to surprise you.
No, that's super
Surprise!
exciting. Oh, we've got a flag.
Surprise!
He's,
like
I'm
it.
sorry, producer Tony is on his way. Everything okay, producer Tony? Okay. So, any more bills need to get paid? We got the big ones, right?
We got the big ones.
Okay. I have another question from another fan. He wants to know, do you know of historically any other general manager that has had to deal with any of the craziness like Ballard has had to deal with?
Wow, not in this tight a period of time. It's been 2.5 years
Yeah.
is all, and he's had how many, and really very little of it of his own creation. I mean, he couldn't manage his way through that Josh McDaniels thing. There's nothing you can do to force a man to take that job.
Something.
Rivalry's
it all
back
worked out
on.
You know
for
what?
us.
Dodged a bullet on
Yeah,
that
that's
one.
right. That's
I think
exactly
so
right.
too.
That
Well,
was the one misstep, right? Where I was
Yeah.
like, ooh, no, because Josh was the offensive coordinator when I was in St. Louis. So I didn't get to know him well in 2011, but that was not a good offense. And they had Sam Bradford, who was a pretty good quarterback at that point before he got hurt. And wow, that did not go well at all. And I didn't
No.
understand for a second what Ballard was thinking. But it all worked out the way it's supposed to. Sometimes,
The way
God takes care of us.
The way I see it, Kent, is that year we tried to get the offensive coordinator that lost the Super Bowl, and we ended up getting the offensive coordinator that won
Yeah,
the Super
right,
Bowl.
right.
That's the way I
Yeah.
see it.
So, just to guys let you know, that was from Christopher Baxter, is his name?
Okay.
One of our fans. He is also the winner of the.
The
He is.
the
He
Wyatt
guessed correctly.
Massengill.
He did guess
No Jones
correctly.
on the jukebox,
The
baby.
number of times that the Bears and the Packers have played each other, including postseason games, is 198.
Yes.
And the Packers are ahead in the series 97, 95, and 6.
I thought it was
I
a
looked
little
that up
more
because
than that.
you
That's
corrected
pretty
me.
close.
And when I go to the smartphone, it's usually because I've been corrected by somebody. You said the one loss differential was 10 or more in favor of the Packers, and I thought, well, I know that's not correct.
I
So
thought
I'm going
it
to go on the
was.
smartphone. I'm going to find out exactly what
Well,
this
I'm
is.
not a smart guy. I'll just let you know right now. A lot of stuff I just say before I even think about it.
Well, I tell you what, that's
That's
valid.
kind of my forte, though.
Actually, I also do. I just usually say it better.
You know how to enunciate the words.
I do.
he said enunciate.
That was well
That's
done.
multisyllabical.
You know how hard that was to get off my tongue? That's a big word for me.
Multisyllabical.
All right.
Can you say
So
that,
we
Pat?
did have another couple questions for you. I have more. Do you guys have any?
I got one.
All right, bring it on.
Somebody sent me a tweet in my messengers today saying that somebody close to Andrew Luck is saying that he feels like he's 98% healthy now, and he's looking to return game 2, 3.
Yeah, well, you can't.
No, he can't.
Like he's got to
done for
sit
the year.
at least through, I think. You got to sit through week 6, and then if he's going to come back at all, he's got to clear waivers.
And
he
they're
would
not
not
gonna-
clear
They're not going to
waivers.
allow that.
And I guarantee, like you, I don't guarantee many things. I guarantee you that Andrew Luck is done playing football.
Yeah,
I think so,
I
too.
agree
Play
with you.
football.
I think so too. I'm still in the shock of it because I love the guy. He's exactly the kind of athlete and role model that we like in this city. You know, he's not out there getting in trouble. He does a book club for kids. You know, he's everything that we
Awesome.
want. And
Does
he's
the book club
talented,
for
you know,
adults.
in every pocket that he's got. So for him to say he's retiring, he blew me away. But I wasn't mad at him.
Dude, you were in the fetal position with tears.
I was
You
hurt.
were not mad.
I was
That's
crushed,
valid.
but I
That's
wasn't
valid.
mad.
Yeah, that's valid.
Especially when he was talking more of a mental side of things that he was
Yeah.
dealing with in some dark places that he had been. And
It's the same dark place.
I'm a
Pat was
disabled
in
vet.
afterwards.
I've been on all kinds of pain medicine. And to me, I think he had troubles with some pain medicine. I'm just speculating here.
That is
but
speculation.
he had troubles with pain medicine, and he didn't want to get back there because he keeps getting hurt.
Well, he's
With
a smart enough
wife
guy
and,
to
and
know
a kid on the way.
that he left the game for the reason, the pain, right?
Right.
Like he doesn't want the pain. He's not going to see a pain-free life as being an excuse to play again or a reason to play again. He's going to see it as a validation of his decision not to play. This is why I'm not playing, because I want to feel this way. He's not going to say, I feel this way, so I want to play again.
No, he wants to be able to enjoy life with his child, with
Yeah.
his wife, with future children. He wants to be able to go out and throw a football in the backyard. He wants to drive around when he's teaching his kid how to play instead of worrying about whether or not his brain injury is going to cloud his judgment.
Yep.
There are so many things that went into his decision. And on top of that, the man has a brain bigger than the two of y'all combined. And this one's a pretty smart guy. So
Doesn't seem that way at times. But.
sometimes, you're right. But there's so many other things that he could do and wants to
Yep.
do.
I
So
don't know, I'm a little
why-
offended, Kent. She left me out of that big brain analogy.
You just
No,
have a-
you were in there.
No, she said this guy's pretty smart. She didn't say shit about me.
She said the two of you.
Come
She
on.
was all about you.
Yeah,
She-
technically-
you two
technically he's
combined,
more educated
Very
than
large
you.
brain.
He
See?
is, yeah, you are more educated than he is.
It don't show
Technically.
though, does it? I still can't spell.
I know, it's sad.
It's bad.
It makes me
I
sad.
fake it.
If it wasn't for my daughter, I wouldn't have passed college. And then I got one of these smartphones, so she taught me how to
And
learn it.
still fails miserably to edit the stuff that you put on Facebook. It's so embarrassing.
Ken, I hope you know this ain't a scripted show
No,
at all.
no.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, we don't follow any script.
I was looking for the cue cards.
No teleprompters in here.
All right, he had the last question. You got one?
Well, I just wanted to kind of throw out and let's try to preview the opening game tonight.
There's a game tonight?
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
game.
there is
tonight.
a game tonight.
Kick
Happy
100.
football day.
Hey.
Yes.
It's kickoff day.
So we got the Bears and the Packers at Chicago.
He's already told us that the Bears are going to be disappointing, which means
Yeah.
Well, we hope.
But are
That's-
they going to be disappointing
no,
tonight
we don't
though?
hope because I picked the Bears defense for my fantasy team.
Did you?
I sure
Yes.
did. So now you have completely. It's fine
Wow.
because I've seen the medal that I'm going to win this year, and it totally.
Hey,
fits me.
Coach, that's a
It
good
fits
segue
me.
into what you got sitting over in there next to you.
No,
we'll show
sorry,
that off
I
in
did
a little
not mean to
bit.
drag you into this.
The really good thing about choosing the wrong defense is that it's more important who that defense plays week to week than it is how their defense normally operates. Like, if the Arizona Cardinals, they always suck on offense. So who's playing the Cardinals this week? You'd never take the 49ers defense, right? But if they're playing the Cardinals,
Well, there you
maybe
go.
they're going to put up 15,
Four-
17
there's your
points.
4
That's-
picks and 7 sacks right
Yeah,
there.
There you go.
That's fine.
Well,
Charles Pagano.
He
2
just
words,
keeps
that's
coming
it.
back to
you
it.
know, okay. We're just gonna let's look at the trophies. I have my own opinions on Pagano.
She knows how to hold that Captain America shield up, don't she?
Yeah,
And block
yeah.
herself. We
All right.
we had a bunch of people asking if we was going to do a fantasy league this year, and we was like, well, all right. So Coach and Christian got it all set up,
We
and
did.
and now we got
have
our own
league,
fantasy
the
football
D-Line
league,
Sports Fantasy
Nice.
League.
and we went and up the ante.
We
We got
actually
trophies.
have trophies.
Really?
We got
Yes.
trophies.
Yes.
So the
Do you
winner
want to start with? Oh, okay.
gets this.
That
Look
guy,
at
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
This handsome
Here.
trophy.
Let's get it a little bit closer. Let's put it up
Yeah,
closer.
to-
the-
to-
Yeah,
so-
walk it up. Give it a close up.
That-
Oh, can't you don't have to do it. You're the guest.
That's wonderful.
The handsome trophy to set on your mantle, and then we'll put this one here at the studio
This one stays in the studio.
with the winner's name engraved on it.
Oh.
You got to give it to Vanna while you're up there.
Yes.
There you go.
And then Kristen's
And
award.
then
This is
we're going to
Kristen's.
call this the inaugural Kristen Claiborne Award.
So it's the
that
last.
is- that
It's
is
the
for-
last place.
The last place trophy.
That is mine. I claimed that one. Yeah,
That's a loser.
that is me.
Right there on.
I am the loser.
Not yet. Not
That's
yet.
valid. That's
You got to
valid.
earn it.
You do
We'll
have
see
to
what
earn
happens
it.
tonight.
You know what? I'm probably not even gonna lose well.
But
You know what?
One of
Being
our-
a bad loser is something to be proud of. Show me a good loser, and I'll show you a loser.
Yeah. That's a loser. It's a
Alright,
real
that's valid.
loser.
That's valid.
although Carvey's team is getting
Man.
cherry picked apart.
Bad luck.
All
He
right.
drafted Luck.
Oh,
He
no.
he drafted AB. The only one he's got left is Tyreek Hill.
Who had Zeke though?
Huh?
Who picked up Zeke?
Oh, that was.
I
They're,
think
they're
it was.
going they're going to come out looking good.
Wasn't that Duff's son?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I
don't
can't
know
I think it
about
was.
Zeke.
Irish
have to look
Coco
at it.
or something his name, or Irish Red.
So you guys drafted before Luck retired?
We
Yes.
drafted
We
before
had an early
preseason
draft.
started. Yeah, we had an
Wow.
early draft.
We had a super early draft
Oh,
because
that'll break your heart.
We had to find a good weekend to do it.
Yeah, we got work schedules, crap like that.
some of us have
Undemanding.
jobs. and
As long as he backed it up with Brissett.
Yeah.
No,
You know, what
he
you gotta-
didn't.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
He
not
backed
good.
it up with Dak
Although
Prescott.
my backup's Trubisky,
God.
so you know.
Mitch the Turbo Trubisky.
He's
I
my
love
backup,
it.
Yes.
Really? You're going.
I don't even
you're
remember
going
who
Bears
my quarterback
deep.
is. Do we
Yes, she
remember?
is. Bears.
The thing is,
Who's my starting quarterback though? Matt Ryan.
There
you
go.
did
You're
get
gonna be all
Matt
right.
Ryan. I got Nick Foles on the bench, and I offered this when Luck retired. I offered the guy Nick Foles, and he wouldn't take the deal.
No, Carvey's kind of a whiny
Yeah,
little
I just wanted
kid.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty fair swap.
Think so?
At least he'll have a quarterback, right?
I actually have one other thing that I would actually like to ask you about.
Sure.
It's a little more philosophical than sports related.
You know who
So-
the smart one is in the room now.
Yes.
I'm sorry. When Luck retired, we all remember watching him leave when his retirement was prematurely announced.
Yeah.
We watched him walk the field off, and everybody booed him. Okay. Now,
Not
did they-
everybody booed.
Lots of people booed him. He
Many, yeah.
There was a
booed by
few.
many. Do you watch tennis at all?
Yes.
So did you see what happened with Djokovic this week?
With who?
Djokovic.
Yes.
So he decided in the middle of his match.
Right.
He
that
physically
was
couldn't
done.
continue.
Right.
So he was done. Did you watch when he left the court?
Yep.
So my question is, why do fans feel so entitled to play a part in an athlete's retirement?
Well, here's what I think happened. You had disappointment. times some deception, or what was perceived to be deception from the Colts organization,
Oh, that's valid.
times beer. And that
makes
math
a lot
is
of
going to
sense.
yield booing.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. And if you can't trust the organization to tell you the truth about your quarterback after we've been dicked around
Right.
for 2
And
years
dicked
with this
around and
nonsense,
dicked around.
Well, and since
You know, we're
even
not gonna
training
respond
camp
well.
this year started, it was like, okay, he's playing, he's fine for week 1, he's fine for week 1, he's not playing, he's not practicing, he's
Right.
fine, he's not fine, what the hell?
right?
Hey, that's my line.
And
My line is a little more colorful, but I figured I'd tone it down. Family show.
Okay.
deception's not
Smart.
good,
No.
and obfuscation is not good, and that's what you got from the Colts. And so, you know, were they trying to be respectful of luck? Were they trying to dupe us? What was the cause? You know,
What?
we don't know, but we do know that they didn't tell us a straight poop.
You're right.
You know, so we got disappointed. We, as a city, some people voiced it with booing. It wasn't at Andrew. Andrew's got to be smart enough to know it wasn't about him. It
I
was
hope
about
so.
the entire situation. Him being on the sidelines, as everybody finds out from Adam Schefter
Like
that you're retiring. That's unacceptable.
based on a tweet.
And that's on luck,
That was
because luck
that. Excuse me. That was some bullshit.
Hey,
but
family show, man.
that Schefter did that.
Well, that's
That-
what that's.
No, just
Just
in
because you
general.
got boobs don't mean you get a cuss on there.
It was like that's Schefter's job.
I know.
Yeah,
but
He's
I
got to
just-
do
I
that.
feel like there was still some shady involved with that too.
My question
Well,
is,
it depends
who
on
leaked
how
it
we
to
got
Adam?
Well, and
That's-
everybody
that's-
wants to know
Yeah,
that.
how did
To me,
we
that's who
get
you.
that
That's who you're
information?
mad at is who leaked it to Schefter,
Here's-
not at Schefter.
Here's the thing with Schefter is Schefter is a conduit of information.
Yeah, that's
And that
his.
if you
Like you said,
give
it's his
Adam,
job.
you're going to get from Adam. So if you've got an agent, if let's say he told player X, I won't even use a name, but Luck told player X, and we know that he told some of the guys beforehand.
Well,
Player X told his agent, and the agent's like, "Oh, this is a big chip that I can play with Adam, and get some love back
Yep.
well, now who?
about other stuff."
Well, because I know it wasn't
Now-
Brissett.
That makes-
because
that makes
Brissett
sense.
Doesn't
That
have
makes
an agent.
sense.
And I know Brissett was the
Right.
first teammate that knew.
But there
My-
are guys that he
So who
My
would
theory,
do that?
my theory on this,
This is a wild one.
Matthias Farley is the one that leaked it out. Because why did they just cut him? They released him, got nothing for him.
Huh? That's a good conspiracy theory.
Nothing.
There's some,
Nothing. And
He's
then
got
they
two
had
Mets at home,
a
too.
backup to a
Yeah.
backup, and they traded to, what was it, Washington or something?
New York.
New York
Went to the
got a
Jets.
second round draft pick out of it, but Matthias Farley, a starter last year, a
Oh, I see what you're
producer
saying.
on the team, and he's had a great camp, and you just cut him. You got nothing for him.
Yeah, I don't know. We talk about that all the time and try to figure out what happened and what the timeline was for the thing, and that what we believe. I heard guys talking about this today, is that the Colts wanted Luck to do it Friday, but Luck wanted to get his family here so he could do it Sunday. So that meant delaying the announcement for like 72 hours. And that news is not going to sit in your
No.
pocket for 72
the
hours.
Colts
Somehow it's going to
organization-
get out.
They had
Yeah.
known since the previous Monday. They had known for a long time. It wasn't Friday. They knew the previous Monday. That's when
But-
they had that meeting with Luck.
Luck, or the Colts wanted it to come out on Friday. They wanted that press conference to be Friday.
Before the
Okay.
Is what I
preseason
heard
game.
today.
Okay.
And that Luck wanted to push it to Sunday because he wanted his family here.
So it might have just been that maybe the Colts organization had already given the information out and said it's fine to go ahead and release it on Saturday or tweet
No,
it on
that
Saturday.
definitely didn't happen.
So who the
Yeah, I
hell
don't know.
gave Adam
Okay.
Schefter
But
that
I'll tell you,
information?
Chris Ballard was upset about it. Other people were upset about it. It did not go down the way they wanted at
Yeah.
all. But that's them being respectful of Andrew. Somebody's got to say to Luck, look, this is the way it's going to happen. We're not doing it Sunday
Yeah.
because we're not going to look like idiots. You know, and there's a good chance we're going to look like idiots if this thing it leaks between now and Sunday at 3 o'clock.
And-
So we are not going to do it that way.
And
They-
what happened?
and
They
they
looked like
did.
idiots.
Right.
The
That's
whole
being a
thing
nice
was
guy.
just
And this is why
terrible.
bosses wind up, we think they're pricks. They're not pricks. They're really pretty smart. And they've learned because they've gotten burned. You learn
Yeah.
through.
Well, that was Dr. Seuss-ish. That was
Isn't
well
it?
done.
Isn't it? Yeah, the Dr. Seuss Book of Business. But that's what happened to Ballard here, and so that's not going to happen again.
No.
He's not going to allow that to
No.
happen again.
Yeah.
But okay, so again, philosophical question. Why do so many fans feel like they get to have, why do they get to play a
Well,
part?
He gave you the
That's,
formula.
yeah, you got the beer, you've got the
Did that happen at the
dissatisfaction
US
with
Open?
with clarity from the organization.
Do they serve beer at tennis events?
Yes.
Do
Oh
they?
my!
Wow.
Nobody
I've
would
never
go.
been to one.
Nobody would go to the
they
U.S.
serve-
Open if there wasn't beer.
Everywhere.
That's crazy talk.
That's why people, you do realize that's why people play sports, is so they can sell things.
Sell the beer.
Beer.
Lots of it.
So much beer.
So
Now,
little time.
My thing on
Yes.
that is I think people just feel they've put so much time, energy, effort, money
Yeah.
into a certain
that too.
player, and they feel invested, and then immediately they're no longer getting a return on
But
that
to me,
investment.
that's the sign that the organization sold
Wow,
itself
you guys are
well.
both on this.
They've sold themselves well enough that they got a fan base that's passionate enough to come out there and react the way
That's
they
true.
do.
That is
That's true.
right,
You know
yeah.
what? That's the way it is in media. If you got, we used to, when I was in management, we'd do research studies and ask people to be, grade our talent 1 through 5. And you didn't mind 1s, and you loved 5s, obviously, but you wanted the curve to be high with the 1s, high with the 5s, and low with the 3s. Because 3,
It's indifference.
that communicates exactly. We don't want indifferent, or people who are indifferent to our talent. We want
Makes
people who
sense.
love and hate
Yeah.
in equal measure.
Makes
That's
sense.
really, really good. People
Yeah.
who just like somebody, that's no good. You can't make money with that guy.
Is
and
that why
that's the
they
way
keep Chris Collinsworth on there? Because I hate that dude.
Well, it is why they keep Stephen A. Smith. He's the most loved and most hated.
Polarization.
Yeah, just like Cosell. Back in the day with Howard Cosell, he was the most loved and most hated sports commentator.
I don't see Collinsworth being loved at all.
So who's the most hated now?
in town.
No, in general.
Nationally, Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, I think so.
People detest
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith, or people love Stephen A. Smith. But you always get a reaction. And that's the thing.
That's what you want.
You
Yeah,
want
okay.
that.
That's why
that
Skip
bond.
Bayless has a job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
Right.
wonder how many
And
people love and hate
Colin
me.
Cowherd.
Yes.
Colin Cowherd's another guy. So,
I wonder. That'd be a good poll question. For
and
the Facebook
locally,
page.
of course, it's Dan Dockich.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Dan's
people
my
either
guy.
love Dan.
Dan's my
Exactly.
guy. I love
Or
Dan to
people
death.
throw stuff
hot,
at Dan.
hot take Dan.
I love Dan.
Wow.
You know what though? Dan's not so much hot takes. He just he thinks,
Says what he thinks.
differently, and he communicates transparently.
Yeah.
And that's the key. I hired
That
him.
is actually
I love
a
Dan.
really good way to say he says what he means.
He really does.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
You
use
was
that
on
in the
his
future.
program
Thank
the
you.
other
No.
day, wasn't you?
Huh?
You was on his program the other
Yesterday.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it yesterday?
Well, and last week. Yeah, if I was
I
up
was
in
close
Indiana
enough.
Grand and he was doing a remote, and he didn't like talking to nobody, and I've known him for 30 years, and so he's, come on. So,
Well, that's
and that's just fun.
That's a good question. What's your take on people being able to bet
Oh, I love
legally on professional sports now?
It's silly. You know what?
In
Everybody knew where
Indiana,
you
the
place
rest
a
of the
bet.
country's been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
Just like
You
buying
knew
beer
where a
on
bookie
Sundays.
was. You go to a
Well,
bar.
yeah, I got an uncle
you
that's a
find
bookie.
guy. Everybody's got an uncle. You
Yeah.
know.
No,
that
really, I
takes
really
bets.
do.
Absolutely. No, I mean, really. You know, you make the call. Your guy gets the money down, and now it's just legal.
You
And-
cut out the plant, that guy at the plant, that was his retirement plan. That's all you did.
Yeah.
See, and I'm from New Mexico, so when I moved out here, and I'm like, wait, I can't buy beer on Sunday? What?
Right.
And then the whole betting thing, wait, what?
Right.
It's so bad. What is wrong with Indiana?
Well, we've gotten our shit together.
Ish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ish
getting there.
involved. It's
Getting
a work
there.
in progress.
Yeah,
Ish.
we're we're
If we
moving
could just
forward.
Get rid of some of the holes in the road.
do
that'd
you
be great.
see any big catastrophes coming from this?
Some what?
Where somebody's tanking on purpose because they're getting paid off.
It's probably
Those
less
kind
likely
of
now.
scenarios.
Because it's legal, right? And so
Right.
it's being monitored by law enforcement, and you can't. I think it's going to be harder to fix games than it was when it was kind of under the table.
I think the opportunity is going to be greater though, because now that it's legal, there's an increase in actual gambling.
Keep in mind that it's been legal in many states for
Nevada.
many years.
Yes.
Nevada,
Many states, not
And-
just Nevada.
New
West
Jersey.
Virginia.
It's been legal in New Mexico for a very long time.
There's nothing.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I
I didn't know
look
that.
Up. I didn't either.
It's one of the states I haven't been to. I got to go
You
to
should
New Mexico.
go in October for the balloon fiesta, and call me before you go, and I will
Don't
tell you where
get
to
her
eat.
started,
Okay.
Kent.
All right.
Oh,
You
man.
you signed
get
the
her started.
waiver. Come on, man.
I know. And so
And don't bring up the Mountain West. Ooh.
one of my former bosses said, "I would like to love something like you love New Mexico."
But you
said that to me.
moved here.
Yes, but I met him, so it
You didn't
worked out.
move here to meet him.
No, I did
She
not.
didn't know
I
she
moved
did.
out here because of my daughter, Turd.
Okay, first of all,
You named your daughter Turd.
Actually,
That's
that is her
just-
nickname. Sorry, Stella.
that's all right. I'd call my daughter Booger.
You know
Or
what?
Boogie.
That's also one of Stella's nicknames. One of her aunts calls her Bugs. That's her name.
Somebody
Poor
said,
Stella.
why do you
She's got
call
a
her
great
Boogie?
name.
I said, well, 'cause she's like a booger on your finger. You can't get it off. She just stays on my hip all the time.
Like Turd. I mean, it's like, come on, man, go. Yeah.
And-
Stella's a great kid. She graduated from high school this year. She's fabulous.
Very nice.
Drum major for her
Yes.
high school marching band.
Congratulations.
She's a wonderful child. I'm sorry, Stella. Forgive me. Anyway.
Wow.
Thing. Wow.
You guys
okay.
got anything else? Kent?
No.
No.
I'm just looking forward to football tonight.
Oh,
Looking
good
forward to
heavens,
Sunday
yes.
and seeing what this team's going to be.
Yes.
Because we've been talking about it long enough and kind of, beat the Andrew Luck story to death. And
I'm so
just
tired
ready
of
to
it.
see something else.
I am actually excited about what my team is going to do because there's also a story from my team that's been beaten to death, and I'd like to punch him in his beard.
She's a Cowboys
I
fan.
am a Cowboys
Clearly.
fan. Yeah.
Yes.
And I took her to training camp, and she wore a Browns jersey.
Really?
Yes.
Where'd you get a Browns jersey?
Amazon?
Really? You bought it
It
specifically
wasn't
to
a
go to.
jersey, It was
Yes.
a T-shirt, but
Oh, a
instead-
T-shirt.
I actually, based
Yeah.
entirely on this experience and based entirely on what we're doing here, I've decided that I would like a shirt from every team except one. That's it.
And what's the one?
We're not
The
allowed
team
to mention
that
it.
we do not name.
Oh,
That northern cheating ass
we
team.
don't-
Yeah.
We don't
yeah.
mention that team here.
Maybe once we relocate back to Albuquerque, I can go ahead and get a shirt from that team. But while in this town, it will not happen.
Or on this show.
I
So-
won't wear it on the show. But no, I'm a huge Cowboys fan. Go ahead and
Yeah.
ask me who my favorite quarterback was because he still laughs at me.
Danny White.
Whoa!
Oh my God!
Is that true?
Yes.
Yes, it's true.
Jeremy, I think you just lost your girlfriend.
Jeez. It's bizarre. Out of all the Cowboys quarterbacks you could pick.
So, well, okay, that tells you how old I am.
Jack
When I was-
Trudeau's my favorite Colts quarterback.
When I was learning football, figuring out football, he was the quarterback.
Oh, wow.
I thought
That's
that
funny.
Otis Wilson killed him in 1985 when they played the Bears. The Cowboys played the Bears and beat them like 44-0. And Otis Wilson, Danny White crumpled like an accordion, hit him at the crown of his head. And he's never walking again. We're all done with
It
Danny
was Danny
White.
White. And he's like,
Yeah, he was fine.
What was the score last time they played the Colts?
oh, yeah, they got shut out. Shut up. We
um,
all saw that. We
what
actually
was that?
recorded
That's right.
game. It was like-
23 what?
Yeah.
Right.
right.
I told you, the Cowboys got shut out. It was the most awkward football game. The
crazy.
cheerleaders are insanely monitored. Like the I don't even think they're called coaches. They're like matrons.
We're back.
Man,
Really?
they're brutal. Brutal.
But that's a place to go to a game. That's a wonderful stadium.
Speaking of places to go to a game, one of the places that you should go watch a game someday in your lifetime is the Pit.
Oh, I'd like to do that. I always wanted to go to the Pit.
Are we not even in this room, Coach? This is
That's
ridiculous.
okay.
He got
This is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
he got to go to a game at the Pit.
Yeah, I got to go to a game at the Pit.
Tell me
It's,
it wasn't
it was
amazing.
enjoyable.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a great
She got me.
See what happens
she was
when
so-
you let a woman in the He-Man Woman Hater Club?
That's
They
exactly
take
right.
over.
She was so in tune with everything that was going on at the University of New Mexico. She got me a private tour.
I did.
Nice.
So we go into the gift shop, and it was an off day, and I told the guy at the gift shop, I was like, well, this one here is super excited. He's a huge sports guy, and he knows that this is like the #1 college basketball arena in the country. Never seen it. He was like, oh, let me take you on a tour. Okay.
Nice.
The gift shop guy gave us a tour.
Nice.
It was awesome.
He locked the door to the gift shop and took us around. It was awesome.
What's your predictions for the game tonight?
I think Packers win.
By how much?
Let's say 23-16.
I actually have the exact opposite. I think the Bears go the other direction.
See, yeah,
Really?
I've got a 24-17 win
Yeah.
with the Bears.
So, what about you? Yeah.
I
Pat thinks
got
the Colts
Aaron
will
Rodgers
win.
as my fantasy quarterback, so I'm pulling for Green Bay. And I think Rodgers really comes out and makes a statement from last year's.
Rodgers is probably going to be like, ouch, my arthritis.
Because they put him
Oh.
out for how many games last year?
Yeah, quite a few.
Yeah.
And now they got Matt LaFleur. So this is
Yeah.
kind of a baptism by fire. You
Yeah,
go down to Chicago.
I
and play the
really
Bears.
think he makes a statement
All
tonight.
right, well,
Well, that's
okay.
solid.
We hope so.
I don't know if Chuck Pagano ruins Khalil Mack in one game, so I've got I've got Khalil Mack coming out excited to play week 1 and going.
It's
some,
funny because we're up against each other this year
Yeah.
or this week in fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes.
awkward bowl 1 or 2.
Yeah. Well.
1.8.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, well, who's your predictions for Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Or have you thought this far into the season yet?
You know, it's hard to pick against the Patriots. Like just being
No.
real,
You
not being.
signed the
not
waiver
being-
not to mention that
Like in
name.
Marion County, I know that's blasphemy.
The attorneys are going to get a hold of you for not following the waiver.
And I think it's going to be Patriots and Rams again. I believe what I
Really?
last saw. I think the Rams are really good. And Aaron
I think
Donald's
they
a
are
game
good.
wrecker. and
Oh, he's
Goff's terrific.
he's
and so
fantastic.
I have a tough time. Plus, I still know people with the organization, and so I have a tough time picking against them, and would like to see him go again. But like the rest, you know, the NFC East looks so mediocre from top to bottom. Like Cowboys through the Redskins, they're mediocre. The AFC South is really, really mediocre. The NFC South's there's a lot of mediocrity.
Yeah,
You
so
could
much.
wind up with almost damn near anybody.
Yeah.
See, I'm calling
We talked
calling
about that
Saints
the other
Colts
day.
Super Bowl.
Are you really?
I
Saints
really
are not
am.
a bad pick.
I really
the
am.
Bears Colts.
And then we're going to sign Hank Basket in December,
Oh,
and he's going to be eligible for the playoffs.
We're going to
and
sign
there-
Hank Basket and let
Yeah.
him go play for the Saints.
Hank Basket, man. Is there a more hated dude in the history of Colts football
Mike
than Hank
Vanderjet?
Basket?
Possibly Josh McDaniel.
Yeah,
Well,
Possibly
right.
McDaniel might be up there as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Kent, I hope we can get you back on here
Oh,
again. I
and
know,
anytime,
this
I
is
know
fun.
we're
This is
we're a little
was
bit
fun.
over our time as it is now,
I enjoyed
but
it.
this has been a blast having you. Love
Yeah.
picking
I
your
enjoyed
brain.
it. Glad to be here.
Hopefully,
Thank
we
you
can
for
get you
having me.
guys get you to come back. So everybody can check his podcast out
Yes.
on SoundCloud. Go to kentsterling.com. It'll
Yep.
lead you right there. Your breakfast with Kent is at 8:00 every morning.
8 o'clock every morning on Facebook
On
Live, and
Facebook.
then 8:15 every day on Periscope. It's a show so nice we do it twice.
Awesome.
But you also have it on your website because I've
Oh,
watched
yeah,
it
I
on your
link to
website.
it
Yeah.
in the website. I like everything everywhere. You know, everything from the website is linked on Facebook. Everything from the Facebook videos are linked back to on my website. It's all. This is what you do with social media, right? You plop
We're-
everything.
we're
everywhere
working
and all
on
of a
it.
sudden
Yeah,
you
we're,
find
yeah, again, we're
And I tell you
work
what,
in
I
progress.
love
We're
the
getting
breakfast
there.
with Kent. You know,
I
you're
actually
waking
enjoy it
up.
too.
Oh, thank you.
And
Yes.
you've had to have 8 cups of coffee because I mean you're just fired up
It's-
at 8:00 in the morning.
Showtime, baby. The lights go on. You know, we hit the button and off we go.
I love it. I love it. Gets me fired up. So
Well, it's a good way to wake up. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. What the hell else am I going to do? My wife's gone to work. I got to scream at somebody and screaming at a camera or screaming at a smartphone connected to social media is a pretty good excuse.
there you go.
I like that.
That's it.
All
I
right.
had a great time. You guys are terrific.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Well, and we always finish the show with final thoughts, and as our guest, we'll let you have any final thoughts you have.
I think the national media is crazy about the Colts. I think picking them to win 5 games is nuts.
Yeah.
You know, I think that they're going to be better than that. I think they're 9-7, at worst 10-6 maybe, and the AFC South is wide open. I think it's going to be a great time watching this team find itself. I trust the leadership, and that's where it all starts.
Yeah,
Boom.
that's valid. I think we should just end with that.
No, everybody gets
everybody
their
gets
final
final
I
thoughts.
don't have any. I'm
Well,
sorry. I've
you've
got
already
nothing
taken
for
over
today.
this whole show.
Yeah,
You're not
better-
going to take over
better
the
come up with
ending.
something.
Maybe if you guys were coherent enough
Hey.
to have thoughts.
What do they have on the menu at Monroe's?
Oh,
Oh,
so many
your
things.
final thought of the day. Tell them about
Oh,
Monroe's.
Monroe's. If you're ever in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and you want some absolutely amazing new Mexican food, very different from Mexican,
Get the pozole.
and the carne adobada stuffed chili relleno.
I'm just trying to drive Patrick nuts. Keep
I know.
steering it back to New Mexico.
The waiver is just on fire right now.
I didn't even-
You've
I
broken
didn't even
every
ask about the
rule
Nevada
you signed
Purdue
you
game
wouldn't.
either. Yeah. You see his head. He's like Hades. His head's on fire.
All right, Coach, your final thoughts.
Hey, watch some football tonight. Get a look at that young running back from Iowa State, David Montgomery. I think he's going to show out tonight a little bit. He'll be fun to watch.
Yes.
Keep an eye on Aaron Rodgers too. He's going to do something tonight.
Man,
also,
we
I
didn't
think.
even get to ask Kent who he thinks the quarterback positioning is going to be within the next year and the following year when
I think you just
Trevor
did.
comes out.
Well, Trevor
You know,
comes
you
out
got
to 21.
Tua, you got Hilbert from Oregon, that feller in Georgia.
Yeah,
Georgia.
From's going to be around late enough that if things don't go well this year, they could be in the game for him. But the other guys, I mean, Trevor Lawrence
He's
is
gonna be
going to be
number
1
one.
overall,
Yeah,
and the
easily.
Colts are never going to fall that low.
Unless something really bad happens this
Then it
season,
would-
because he doesn't come out till
It
21.
would take an unspeakable catastrophe.
Jacoby Brissett would have to fall down the stairs walking out
Well,
of the
and
stadium.
everybody
Yeah,
would have
just-
to get hurt. I mean,
yeah.
this is a much better team from top to bottom.
Definitely.
They cut some good guys.
Yeah.
Moving on.
All right. Well, my final thoughts is my fantasy team is going to stomp the shit out of all of y'all. That trophy is mine, baby. Mine. All mine. And on that, you guys be good to each other. No drinking and driving. And as always,
It's a good tip.
go Colts.
Go Colts.